Hi, and welcome back to A Woman's Heart Podcast. I'm your host, Edna Howard, founder of Voices of Encouragement. It is an organization designed to empower women. And I'm so excited you're joining me for another empowering message because this year we're shining the spotlight on everything mindset. And specifically for the next quarter, which we're in the second quarter. So for the months of April, May, and June, we're really taking a focus on wellness and well-being and mindfulness. And as a mindset coach myself, I specialize in helping women find and claim their personal power. And my organization provides coaching, educational products, training, mentoring, and empowerment. And that's empowerment workshops for women and networking events for women all over the world. And so, again, I don't know if you know, but May is Mental Health Month. And this is critical time for us to really take a check-in with ourselves. And I want to say it differently, to step back, really see how you're feeling about life, if you have a work-life balance or if you're at a joy level. So what is your joy level? So really focus on that this month. And today I'm honored and privileged to have on the show with me, Miss Edna Laurent-Tellus. And tell me if I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much, Edna. So happy to be here with you today. And
we're happy to have you. Now, let me just give a little bit about her because she's awesome. She's a chief executive officer and founder of Awake IntuMind, AIM, an innovative mental health and care provider that utilizes an integrated approach to delivering mental health services. Edna has over 20 years of experience as a senior administrator, strategic planner, and mental health program developer for diverse populations and communities in Massachusetts. So think of me as your chief encouragement officer, bringing you firsthand expertise and knowledge from a mental health care professional who dedicates her life and is very compassionate about impacting the world around her. Welcome to the show today, Edna.
Thank you very much, Edna. So happy and grateful to be here with you and your audience.
Well, thank you. And we're excited to have you. And could I just say that I love your name? I never met an Edna I haven't loved. So I love your name.
Thank you. I love it too. And your name too.
Yes. I love it. So we're gonna start off and let's just jump right on in. So why don't you tell me or the audience from your heart who you are and what makes you get up in the morning?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually it's interesting you start with, I love your name, because one day I woke up and I was like, oh, E-D-N-A. Okay. Extraordinary DNA.
Yes.
Extraordinary DNA. And I said, it's not only because we are named Edna, we are extraordinary DNA. Everybody is. So yes, we need to, know and shine the light on that. So who am I? When I'm looking at, who am I? We know that, we're not educated to really talk about ourselves. But right, I have to, really come and say, who really am I? And of all the accolades, all the degrees, all those stuff, one thing keep coming to me. Yeah. I'm a soul. I'm a soul who came here to heal mind and soul.
I love that.
I always have the desire to leave any place I enter a little bit cleaner than when I enter. Even when I go to public bathrooms, sometimes, people just drop papers on the floor and I find myself picking that up. So this is, if I'm describing myself, in a nutshell, so it's more like what makes me get up in the morning. I tell people I really feel I have a lot to give to this world, and I don't think I've reached, all the women, all the men, all the people that need to hear that. So I woke up every morning hoping to reach, one more person.
Right.
And most importantly, it's like a lot of time we think about all those people out there, but what about the individual in our lives? My husband, my kids, okay, my grandchildren.
Mhm.
So in answering that question, yesterday was Mother's Day. And
Yes.
oh, all the beautiful mothers. And yes, if you are listening here, you are a mother, you are a beautiful and wonderful mother.
Right.
I want to say, I hope you had a great, Mother's Day.
Mhm.
But my daughter sent me something, Edna, if you allow me to read it.
Mhm.
Because,
Absolutely.
as I said, it's not so much what we say about ourselves, it's what others said about us.
Mhm.
And for
Mhm.
me, the greatest gift, the greatest compliment that I can ever have is from the people the closest to me, my clients, my kids, my grandchildren.
Mhm.
Okay. So what they said. So my daughter said something, and I wanted to share it with you and all the world.
Mhm.
Um, she said, she sent me a Mother's Day card, and this is what in the Mother's Day card. Thank you so much for all you have done for me.
Mhm.
You've gone above and beyond to support me. Thank you for your words of wisdom, guidance, and honesty. Words can't express how grateful I am for you. You have such a big heart and give so much of yourself to so many people.
Mhm.
You're a powerful force of love that has made a meaningful difference in the lives of so many people.
Mhm.
Those were her words.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome. So that's who you are. She described who you are and what you do and how you operate in the world. And that is such a wonderful thing. That's so great. And that's coming from your daughter's mouth. I love that. So good. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and who and what has helped shape you become this mental health provider you are today? And kind of step us through the process of how you took your leap of faith to even open up your practice.
Ah,
Because
and
it
leap
is
of
a
faith,
leap of faith.
that's it.
Right, right.
Leap of faith it is. So let me just, when thinking about this question, it's really brought me back to me coming in this world as a girl born in Haiti in the beginning of 1960s, and to two parents, that who love me, they love me, but very unconscious of their own trauma and their limitations.
Right.
So they go on and pass that to me. And we know from, working with the brain from 0 to 7, really that's what shaped us. A lot of us go in life thinking that, oh, well, tell me your journey. Your journey started with that program from 0 to 6.
Right.
After 7, you really kind of repeating and reaffirming that program until you really are conscious that, oh, I'm not living my life. Okay, this is, the life that was prescribed for me.
Right.
And then,
Right.
and then you start, taking intentional actions to change what you don't like. Keep what you love and let go of what you don't have. So, for me, it really was like, coming to that realization that that trauma was passed on to me. The limitations were passed on to me. I had my kids, I got married, I was 19, my first marriage, and I was very young. By 27, I had 3 kids. So it was like, really kind of like, me growing up, and with all my unconscious and limiting beliefs, I passed them on to those
Right.
kids.
Right.
And then later on realizing that, oh, wow, there's so much, that, we need to change here. Okay. And one thing, again, that also that had a significant, thing in my life, it's when my mom was diagnosed, in her 50s with a, incurable, diseases. At the time, it's hepatitis C. There was no treatment, no nothing.
Right.
And
Right.
it was like, okay, you're going to live with it. Maybe, you live a few years. Maybe you live, whatever. They don't know.
Right.
And then it took me in kind of like looking at health, looking at, like alternatives, looking at what is out there for my mom. What is there anything else beyond the medical field that can help my mom? And that's where, my journey really started, in terms of, health. I'm going to say wellness and health, where, it really look at, okay, what are those things that, the medical field is not, giving to us, and it's not, really, cannot, because, again, I'm going to say it's a system that really focus on healing diseases, but not preventing.
Right.
Okay. So the focus is on illness, not on health.
Right. It's like, what medication can we give you to make sure that you help with the illness?
Exactly. And what we know now about neuroscience and how the brain works, is that whatever you focus on, you're going to get.
Thought management.
So think about a system, any system. Okay. If you focus on what you don't want, you get what you don't want.
Right. Because you're focusing on it. You're bringing it to yourself. You're manifesting it.
Here you go. So if you focus on illness, you get illness. If you focus on health, you get health. So that's where my journey, in terms of, as I work, in the field as both sides, I do direct care and I also do administrative. So and I went to school more to do the administrative work.
Right.
To be CEO of organization, to be designing program and all this and all that. So when I really was like, in the process of, really, I know a lot of success in that world, where I was like the executive director of program. I was called to be consultant and really build mental health organization, designing them. And yes, it was a big leap of faith, to leave six-figure income and say, I'm going to do my own thing, because at the end of the day, I did not want to be limited.
Right.
Because when you're working within the system, you come to a point, there's so much you can do, but there's like, so much like, there's other people that will tell you, you cannot go there. And I wanted to really look at, holistic health. I wanted to look at health as not really like you are a diagnosis. You have a mental illness. Mental illness is curable. Just like, physical illness is curable. Okay. But there are some mental illness that are chronic. Just like there's some physical illness that are chronic. So it's in terms of, how do you manage something that is chronic? Just like, how do you manage something that is chronic in the physical or medical part? And that's what I did with my mom, by the way, really researching, anything that could help us to manage and to live a really fulfilling life despite what was going on. And I'm so happy and grateful that she had for 30-something years after she was diagnosed. It was not until the last 2 years, and she was getting into her 80s, okay, that, she started manifesting, some symptoms, and she left us, with, which is, like, a sign that, this woman, she was divine, and she left us on her birthday, on her birthday, and it was like, really making peace with everything. So my journey really to get to take the leap of faith was to really be able to provide that service, not in the confine of a clinic, but wherever I want.
Right. I love that. That is such a great journey and wonderful story. And we love that you were working toward helping your mom. So that sparked it. It's like, how can I help my mom? How can I help my mom? So I love that you're in an industry that's all about helping. It's like, how can I help this person feel better, be better, think better, And we just thank you for the work that you're doing, Edna.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's so awesome. So I want to ask a question. Who would your target audience be like? And what made you decide to focus your career on mental wellness? Now, you told us kind of like your faith journey and how you took that leap of faith. The focus was really, first it was, I want to help my mom. And then it was like, who else can I help? beyond the walls of being in an office. So who would your target market be? Like, who are you targeting? Who are you looking to help?
Actually, if you go to my website, it's very, very, visible, because my company right now have a lot of women of color. Okay, we all, right now we're still recruiting, but we are women of color now. We are targeting women of color. And the reason why is because as I was in the field, we noticed there were a lot of gap, in terms of, people of women of color, especially finding, specialists, people like them to serve them. So I wanted to kind of like fill that gap and really see if I can provide, that service. Because I have people, as I had my office in Boston, coming to me and said, "Oh my gosh, I've been looking for somebody like you for like 8 months, like 9 months or a year.
Wow.
I went to this therapist, oh, it was not working. I went to that one, it was not. I went to that coach." And when they come to me and they say, "Oh my gosh, we feel at home. You got me." I see, people would say, "I feel seen."
I love that. I feel seen. So you show up for them.
Yeah. So those are the stuff, really, like, we know. And again, like I said, my program serves everybody. And, one of the things I really was noticing to a lot of, like, again, the predominant, culture, which is the white culture,
right.
People, there's less stigma to mental health.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, and all that.
It's cultural.
It's easier for people, even, like parents, getting their kids to come, and get services. It's very easy. But for us, when I say us in terms of, Black, women of color, foreigners, there's so much stigma that there's a shame. It's more like despite, everything, we need to get up and go. And
and keep going no matter what,
no matter what. It's like, we internalize that we don't deserve, to take that time to rest
and take care of yourself. It's like almost like, because I think it's passed down too, Edna. Think about culturally, how even as far back as slavery for African Americans, and knowing that we were always the strong ones to work hard and keep going no matter what. I think that gets passed down, and it's just a mentality. And when you decide that you're going to do something for self, or, take a step back and say, I need some help, then internally, like you said, you're thinking, well, that's a weakness. But it's not a weakness, it's a strength. If you can self-identify what's happening with you and say, I need some help, I can't do this by myself, I think that's a strength.
Absolutely. And let me just open the window that you just opened in terms of slavery here. Because, we know that it comes from slavery.
Right. It's
and I even go, further in terms of everything, like, if anybody who knows me, I try to connect everything with the brain, because people think, like, they will go out and do things. Either they blame themselves for things, or they blame other people for things, but they don't see that in this world, it's the brain that is in command. So if you do something, you're not doing the thing because you want to do the thing.
Right.
You are doing it because your brain is wired or conditioned to do it. Okay. So it's like that for everybody. And I go in the world, this is how I look at the world now. I look at the world, really as, oh my gosh, what happened to that person instead of what's wrong with that person?
Exactly.
What happened to that person instead of what's wrong? Okay. So slavery, that crucial part, that, again, I really, feel one of my calling is to decolonize our brain. It's really making sure that, we take back the freedom that we had in Africa before we came here as slaves.
Right.
To know who we are and truly are, not what was conditioned in our brain in terms of who we are. So think about it. Take a day in the life of a slave, okay? Strong men, women, because slavery was a commerce. I tell people all the time, they have to remember, slavery was not about, Black are inferior. That's not what slavery was about. Slavery was about Black are strong, they are smart, they can build our new world. Africa is the richest continent in the world. If we can colonize and if we can control, okay, we will be able to be rich. Okay, that's what slavery was all about. So now you take a smart, strong person, you got to make them a slave in order for them to do what you need to do.
Exactly.
So what that means, it's like, you take any child, we said, as a parent, mom and dad, you are training that child from 0 to 7, you are training that child for the rest of that child's life. So the psychology that was used on us, okay, I always said, I can talk forever because it was a psychology that was taken.
Oh yeah, psychology behind it.
But that was a psychology that was taken also from Africa.
Right.
Because the Greeks, okay, the first European who used to travel to Egypt or Kemet, the African continent.
Yes.
That, they went and they learned all those mysteries.
Yes.
Part of it, the medicine, math, and all these things. That psychology was used because, they know those people. If you know who you are, okay, you are, you can do miracle. So they had to kind of take this out of your brain.
Right.
So coming back to the idea of we cannot rest.
Right.
A slave that goes to the plantation, they were forced to work night and days. Okay, the ones that could not work, they were weak. And if you were weak, you could be dead.
Right, they could kill you for that. Right.
So here we go. Unconsciously, to, really our genes that pass on to us, okay, in terms of, being weak is a threat to our life. So rest is associated to weakness, and weakness is associated to death. So here we go. The slave master is not there anymore doing this, but we're doing it with our mind.
It's a psychological change on the mind, right? Psychologically. That was so profound and deep. We're going to have you on the show again so we can just talk about just that. So I love that. It's so good. So can you share with us a story, one of your clients, and some of the success story of one of your clients, and the tools and resources you use to help your client be successful or to transformation?
Yes. And actually, Edna, I love to use the word of others, because a lot of time we say things, but it's more like, what are those people taking from us? Okay. So I have one client, and I'm going to try to read, some of the things what she sent to me. And it was unprompted. I did not ask her for a testimony. Okay. It was one of those things, she gave me a testimony after, but, this one was not really I asked her for a testimony. Okay. She sent me something to say, her work with me, her experience, working with me has been shifted. Okay. This is her talking. Okay. I've shifted my total being for just existing to living my whole life out loud.
I love that.
When I came to you for help, I did not know why I was so emotional and suffering from so much anxiety. As we began our healing journey, things that I had no idea I was holding started to come up. You taught me so much about the brain and its functionalities. It was mind-blowing. The life tools you've given me has totally changed my life. The technique that you taught me to awaken my mind and understand my behaviors has been astounding, astound, astounding,
Astounding. Mm-hmm.
astounding. Thank you, thank you. People notice a change in me.
Mm.
Now I live intentionally, I think she meant it. I live intentionally opening my mind to what I want in life instead of what I don't want.
Wow, that's so good. I love that. So that right there is a testimonial. So this is like so
That's it.
powerful. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Edna.
And
That is so
in
good.
that sense, wonderful opportunities have been coming to me.
Wow.
I could say so much more about your life-changing service, but I just wanted to send you these few words of appreciation. Thank you with all my heart. Keep up your great work in healing the world.
I love that.
We so desperately need it.
That is so good. And it just shows who you are and what you brought into her life and how you helped transform her. I love that. And she just came back, shared a testimonial. You said you didn't even ask for it. She just sent it over. I love that.
You send it over. So
so
the tools I give to people, I really give them the tool of really taking ownership of your brain. You know, one of the things that we said to the women, what we're trying to tell you is to stop renting your life and to own it.
Right.
You know, a lot of that, we rent our brain to all our past conditioning, you know, instead of owning it. So, you know, I joke with my people a lot, you know, in terms of, you know, like, you know, how much rent those people are paying you.
That's
you
right.
know, you need, you know, because in, you know, we know in renting, we know it's more a liability because it's if you're giving the homeowner, you know, but if you own
everything,
if you own, it's an asset that keep appreciating for you. So
that is a really great analogy. I mean, I love that. So just looking at it from that perspective it helps you kind of already start to shift your mindset around it, right? A lot of what you're talking about, Edna, you know, I'm a master mindset coach. We talk a lot about neuroscience and also the mind and how you have to shift your perspective, attitude, and choices of the mindset, whether it's going to be fixed or growth. And a lot of people are stuck in that fixed mindset. So I thank you so much for the work that you're doing. It's so good. It's just so good.
Yes, and I'm going to thank you too. And I'm going to show your audience, you know, already thanking you for the work that you are doing,
well,
you know, through your personal work and really to shine light, you know, in the work of other people that are doing, you know, like work, because we all need each other. We all need to support. There's so much work to be done.
Agreed. I love to shine the spotlight on mental wellness professionals like yourself, because again, there's a lot of people out there that don't know where to look or how to look, or if they feel like they can look because they feel like they're stuck. That's what you said. They feel like they can't move in that space because it shows a sign of weakness. But again, I'll go back to say it, and I'll continue to say it. It's a sign of not only growth, but a sign of strength, that you want to feel better. You want to go into life better, and you want to operate in a way that you can feel like you own your life as opposed to renting it, which I love. I love that. Renting your mind instead of not renting your mind, but owning it. I love that. That is so good. So I want to ask you, Edna, what piece of advice could you give to the listening audience who may be showing signs of needing your services? What would those signs look like, and what would you say to them?
Okay, so sign, you know, because again, we have two part of our program, because I wanted to really be holistic and not focusing just on when people are really sick, you know, in terms of like when I said sick, you know, they're really suffering, you know, and this is the part where, you know, it's more acute. So you will have sign of, you know, depression. So depression is really kind of like you lost all interest in life, and to the point you're like your life is not worth living. And people start having suicidal thoughts, and many people take their life. When everybody look at them, they were laughing, they were joking, and all these things, and they took their life. So that's, you know, this what are we talking about? Anxiety to the point where you cannot move, it paralyzes you.
Right.
That's, those signs, when people have those signs, or, I'm not even talking about the most serious, mental illnesses. The most serious mental illnesses, sometimes people lost control of the reality. It's really the people around them that can see the sick, and they cannot really see it themselves. So I would say, for that time, if you see that sign, I would say, please consult with your health provider. Okay, I'm in Massachusetts. I do only therapy in Massachusetts. We have staff that do therapy in Massachusetts. So you can reach out to us, if you feel that we can help you, if you're in Massachusetts. But any other place, you can start with your primary care physician and then look for a therapist. Anybody who can help, to really help, help you heal, that part of you. That would be said.
Thank you for that. So can you share with us, the listening audience that is in Massachusetts, in your area, your website and information to the audience so that they can get in touch with you?
Yes. So our website is www.awake. So the word awake, AWAKE, okay, INTUMIND. So the IntuMind, it's INTU because it's intuitive. It's short for intuitive mind. So it's awakeintumind.com. That's our website.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for
and
that.
Also, Edna, I don't know when, people are going to hear this, but we have a Q&A coming at the end of this month. Okay. Really, it's free for anybody. So if people go to the website, they can sign up for the Q&A, and it's for Mental Health Awareness Month. And we will be answering exactly the question you're asking now. We'll be answering questions for people. If they see sign, if there's anything, if they have family members, they see sign, what can they do? We're going to have, like an hour dedicated to answer people's questions about that.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. That is so good. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're a successful business owner, founder, transformative coach, and therapist. And what is next for Edna? What's next for Edna? And also, you're an author, right? Didn't you write a book?
Yes. Cultivating wellness.
Yes.
Yeah, cultivating wellness. And again, we are targeting women of color because, again, we said, like what we're talking about, a lot of time people don't give themselves permission to do self-care, okay, to really do the thing, that we do. So it's cultivating wellness, flourishing physically, mentally, and spiritually as a woman of color. And it's on the website. If somebody goes to awakeintumind.com, they can find a link, and it's on Amazon. They can go and purchase it on Amazon.
Awesome. Thank you. As a fellow author.
Thank you. Yes. And what next for me is exactly what I'm doing now. I'm really want to get out there a little bit more, make my voice a little bit more visible, because I feel like I've been in hiding, quietly doing things in Massachusetts. So now I would like to be more out there. So we have corporate training coming up where we can really train corporation and individual in our signature, wellness, services. And everything we do, at the base of it is mindset. Even if you come for career, you want the career coach, we start with the mindset, because with a limited mindset, nothing else can be done. You want to, for wellness, we start with myself. Life coaching, we start with mindset. Everything starts with, we said the brain or mindset.
Yes, that's the core. I mean, it really does. It goes back to the crux of the mindset. What is your mindset? And then also, not only what is your mindset, but how did you get there, right? So now you help them kind of shift it and reshape the way they tell their story. As they move forward into that transformative state. So I love that. That is so good. And you said you're reaching out to corporations now?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. That is so good. So you can reach more of the masses. You get people that are in business and in life, but then also now reaching into the businesses to get folks who are struggling in the business or struggling in the workforce. That is so good.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love, one of the things for me before I leave this earth, this is my dream, to go back to the motherland.
Oh, that would be so beautiful.
Yeah, because I did my DNA and most of it is from Nigeria and Ghana. And those are two places I'm like, I need to be there. So
right. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's wonderful. So Edna, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share your wisdom and expertise with us. You truly are an amazing woman impacting the world around you. And we look forward to seeing what's happening next in corporate, in the workforce development space, as you go into that space and help people. So thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you very much, Edna, and very grateful for you and the work you're doing. And it was my pleasure to be here with your audience.
Well, thank you so much. And I want to say to the audience, that is a wrap. You can thank Edna for sharing all of that wisdom and advice she dropped on us. And we just appreciate you so much, Edna. So I would also like to say, for anyone who may need assistance, please reach out to Edna. If you're in the Massachusetts area, reach out to her, go up on her website. And if you've enjoyed our time together, remember to share this podcast, like and subscribe, and tell a friend. We have women empowerment announcements. The Encouragement Cafe Women's Empowerment Virtual Workshop, Walk in Your Power, is scheduled to take place on Saturday, May the 27th. You can register on Eventbrite or at the VOE website. And if you need to take a deeper dive and get some one-on-one coaching, or even join a group mastermind group or session with us, VOE offers beyond the workshop ICE coaching and consulting services to help those who need to shift the mindset and transformation. For more information, reach out to me on voemetoday@gmail.com, or you can reach out on the website at voicesoфencouragement.com. And like I always like to say at the end of every session that we have on the podcast, until we meet again, Ephesians 4:1, walk worthy of the call for which you were called.